Welcome to another edition of Development Update. This is a frustrating topic we're dealing with here today, and as folks here in town know, we've had a long, drawn-out battle with the gas company to prevent the siting of a gas compressor station in North Weymouth. The town has fought valiantly over a number of years, actually preceding my administration, starting during the Kay administration, continuing on during my tenure. We have filed 22 lawsuits to stop this placement of a compressor station here in Weymouth. And as we all know, those 22 lawsuits have been concluded. We have actually been successful in getting some minor concessions from the gas company, and we've delayed this project for some time, but this has been an incredibly frustrating process. The town has spent a lot of resources in that fight. One of the things that we asked for, and the citizens groups involved in this fight asked for from the state and from the gas company initially in leading up throughout this fight, was the placement of an air monitoring station. There's been a lot of give and take on where the appropriate location for that siting of that air monitoring station would be. There's been a lot of work done by the citizens groups, by the town, and it's been determined that the best location here is on Manataquat Street, adjacent to our power plant on the opposite side of Route 3A from the site of the gas compressor station. We're down here actually today on a day that work has commenced, so that's why we're shooting this. And we're going to turn this over in a minute to our town solicitor to talk about what led to the siting, what this air monitoring station will actually do for us, the importance of it, and a little bit more of the background on the fight that we waged on the compressor station siting itself. So we thank you for tuning in. We wish this was a better topic to be discussing. Most of the development update topics talk about improvements here in town. We're very frustrated in this fight and what has led to the placement of this compressor station here in North Weymouth. But this is one of the mitigation measures that we asked for, and work again will have commenced, and we're going to turn it over to Town Solicitor Joe Callanan, who did a great job in helping us on the legal front in this fight. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Mayor Hedlund. So I want to tell you about what the latest that's going on with the air monitoring station in North Weymouth. And that is that back in 2019, when DEP allowed Enbridge and Algonquin to build the compressor station, they also allowed and ordered that a permanent air monitoring station be erected somewhere near the Fore River Basin. So over the last 2 years, we've been working on finding a permanent location for that air monitoring station. We considered several sites, including on the north parcel, on Calpine property on Bridge Street, but ultimately it came down to the recommendation of both town staff, along with residents and the local councilor, that would build it on town-owned property on Manataquat Street, right at the corner of Bluff Road. And this is an old water tower site. So it has a concrete pad, and it's town-owned property. So the air monitoring station itself is going to be a box, a shed, about 8 feet by 8 feet, 12 feet long. And it'll have guardrails above so the technicians can stand on top and won't fall over. And it'll have a meteorological tower about 30 feet high that will measure wind direction and wind speed. But the station itself will be no higher than 10 feet, 12 feet high. Now, to get that air monitoring station on that old water tower site, trees needed to be cut per EPA siting guidelines. So no trees could be within 30 feet, and really they wanted no trees within 60 feet. Trees were just cut this week, and the station itself should be installed either next week, last week of February, or the first week of March. After that, the station itself will run on electricity, basically, make no louder noise than an air conditioner. But it does have electrical needs, so they'll need to run electrical power from a telephone pole that's right on Manataquat Street to the station. And other than that, they'll run the station, test it, make sure it's working properly, and should be working between mid to end of March and have data available on pollutants that are in the Fore River Basin. So in the next couple of weeks, we should have a permanent air monitoring station measuring pollutants, that all the different polluters in the Fore River Basin, including Twin Rivers and Belds, Potter Station, Calpine, and the compressor station. So we'll have an idea of what actual pollutants are in the Fall River Basin. It will be measuring all the air that's in that particular location, the corner of Bluff and Manaquet Street, but prevailing wind patterns are pretty much from the northeast, so from Twin Rivers towards that station. So you'll be able to get all sorts of pollutants from even Calpine, Compressor Station, Twin Rivers, but then if the winds change, you'll be able to get some from Potter Station, or the Citgo tank farm, or the MWRA fertilizing plant. So it's measuring all the pollutants at that one particular site, but the air around all the Fall River Basin, all the emitters should, the pollutants will be able to be tracked at that particular air monitoring station, which is selected because it's the closest one to Weymouth residents, the people that live on Manaquet, Bluff, and Van Ness. It's all available real time. Some of the pollutants are available real time, such as volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Some you need to collect in a canister, and then that canister has to go to a lab in Lawrence. So some of it's real time, some of it's available weekly, and some of it's available monthly. But all the data will be readily available to the public. Funding for the air monitoring station comes from the Environmental Protection Agency. DEP, the state's Department of Environmental Protection, has to create a network of air monitoring stations each year and get EPA approval on how DEP is enforcing the Federal Clean Air Act. So over the years, they've changed different air monitoring stations. There used to be one out on Moon Island, and they discontinued that several years ago. So now the latest network of air monitoring stations will include one in Weymouth. But it's paid for by EPA. We worked with DEP to provide services to EPA in siting the air monitoring station in order to maximize the amount of money DEP has available for EPA in order to plant trees and provide screening. So DEP is committed to at least 10 different giant arborvitaes and 10 different steeplechase evergreens and about 130 feet of screening to replace the vegetative screening for both the visual impacts of the station and the noise impacts of the Calpine operations. So with that money that DEP got from, that we were able to help save by providing surveying services and tree cutting services, we should have about 20 new trees and 130 feet of screening.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Development Update. See you next time.